Boy, I taught school 100 years and never had anything like this. All the nuns can yell. Hello. Ooh, that's... Well, it's a sad time, but Kay has made it a happy time because Kay has gone on and left us and went on to heaven, and she will be welcoming us when we get there. And death is always very painful for all of us who are left behind, because it is a mystery and it's also so final. Sometimes it takes a very long time to accept it or reconcile with it, especially if it is a death of a mother, a sister, a grandmother, or a friend. But we do have comfort in the fact that someday we will be together again and understand the mystery. Everything Kay did was perfection. Her soul was flawless, her cooking was delicious, and her yard was a picture. Pulling weeds was another story, though. Quote, just get the root and leave the soil intact. So I didn't pull weeds after that. Kay loved her family and many friends and spoke of them often. I knew Patty and Francine, John and Lindsay, and Ann and Worden quite well before I had ever met them. Every time she mentioned John, she would laugh. When I met him, I knew why. She treasured her friendship with Ann LaPera and depended on Judy and Louie immensely. Kay knew how to enjoy life and enjoy people. Sunday afternoons was a trip to the park to play Scrabble or Rummikub. No cheating allowed unless, quote, oh, I didn't see that. Knowing very well she jumped too many spaces, but who would argue? When God called Kay to serve him in good health and in poor, in weakness and in pain, he gave her the opportunity and grace of sharing the cross of Christ. She accepted from him whatever he saw fit to send her and never complained, even if it seemed more than she could handle. Because of this, we knew she was a special person, a strong person, and a loving person. As she suffered so much in her last days, she continued to teach, show, and help us to learn how to accept what God asks of us. All of us will certainly miss you, Kay, as we continue on with our lives. Maybe the best way we can do that would be to imitate the lessons that you taught us.
Thank you, Sister Monica. Never follow a nun. Okay, September 26, 1923 to December 15, 2011, 88 years. We're here to celebrate and honor Kay's long and well-lived life. You know, Akron was so critical to Mom. It was so much a part of who she was. She was born and raised here, and except for a short time in Chicago and the time that she moved to Marblehead to marry my dad and live there, she was an Akron girl. And after Dad died, this is where she wanted to come back to, toting a 7-year-old and a 2-year-old with her to be close to her family and friends. It is said that hard work spotlights the character of people. Some turn up their sleeves, some turn up their noses, and some don't turn up at all. Well, if you knew Mom, you knew that she was one of those people who turned up their sleeves and worked hard all her life. And that work ethic started very early. She recently had told me a story about what she remembered as one of her first working experiences. She was selling poppies in downtown Akron for Veterans Day. Now those poppies cost 10 cents, and Mom would make a penny for every one that she sold. It was cold. She was outside all day. She made a penny. I think that's when she decided that perhaps sales was not what she needed to be. She was too shy to ask for a sale. You know, she graduated from high school. She had a series of jobs. One job was working for an engineering firm, and her job was to hand letter blueprints. And from that, she developed a beautiful, even, precise printing style. Mom worked throughout her early married years, usually in an office doing secretarial work. After she moved back to Akron out of economic necessity, she went to work, first part-time, and then as we got older, she moved to full-time. She worked for an insurance agency, then Sawfield, and ended up at Firestone. And she retired from Firestone with 13 years of service. Mom was always a good provider. And, you know, there were some tough times in those early days when she was on her own and 2 little kids. And when I look back on how little money she had, it just astonishes me at what she was able to do with that. I mean, we went to Catholic school, which was a cost. There were small vacations, sometimes with the Millers. You know, we had winter coats and spring coats. We had Sunday dresses, and we had the most god-awful collection of ugly hats to wear to church. There are some pictures in case you need photographic. But we had those. You know, we had bikes, and we had a swing set, and we had a pool. And, you know, by those standards, maybe we weren't doing so well, but you know what? We felt loved, and we felt secure in what Mom provided for us. Even if there was a lot of tomato soup at the end of the month for dinner. Learning was always really, really important to Mom. She always said that she had wished she had been able to go to college. That was one of her great regrets. And she said teaching would have been the profession that she would have gone after, because she held teachers in very, very, very high regard. But we always thought that it was because she got 3 months off in the summer. You know, somehow, some way, at a time when things were really tough for her, Mom bought us a set of World Book encyclopedias. She saw that as an investment in our future, in our education. And whenever we would ask Mom a question about geography or history or the sciences, her answer always was, look it up and read it to me and we'll both learn. And I'm sure there was heavy sighs, there was rolling of the eyes from Fran and myself, but we pulled those books out and we all learned something together. My cousin Carol mentioned how Mom was always up on current events, and that is so true. And about 3 weeks before, and I don't think you guys know this story, before Mom went into the hospital, I got a call from her. Now, Mom always called me between 6:50 and 7:10, because we could then have our conversation, and she'd still have enough time to have her evening date with Alex Trebek and Jeopardy. So she called me, and after we exchanged our hello, how are you, I could sense that something was on her mind. I said, Mom, what's up? And her response was, Pat, what do you know about fracking? Now, out of all the things she could have asked me about, that wouldn't even made the top 100. Fracking.